Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dread Time Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Phobia, and tonight we take a look into the world of short, scary stories. This particular story comes from a favorite book series of mine called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. If you've never read it, please give it a read. It is totally worth it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Room for One More. A man named Joseph Blackwell came to Philadelphia on a business trip. He stayed with friends in a big house they owned in a nearby city. That night, after having a good time visiting, Mr. Blackwell went to bed. He tossed and he turned, but he couldn't sleep. Sometime during the night, he heard a car turn into the driveway. He went to the window to see who was arriving at such a late hour. In the moonlight, he saw a long, black hearse filled with people. The driver of the hearse looked up at him. When Blackwell saw the man's strange face, he couldn't help but shudder. The driver called to him, "There's room for one more." The driver waited a minute or two and then drove away. Mr. Blackwell was clearly shaken by this, as he didn't go to bed for quite some time. In the morning, Blackwell told his friends what had happened. "You were dreaming," they responded. "Yeah, I must have been," he murmured. "But I could have sworn I was awake." After breakfast, he waved goodbye to his friends and headed into Philadelphia. He spent the day high above the rest of the city in one of the new office buildings. Late in the afternoon, he was waiting for an elevator to take him back down to the first floor. But when the elevator arrived and the door opened, it was a little too crowded for his liking. Some of the faces looked eerily familiar. One passenger looked to him. "There's room for one more," he said. The man looked strikingly like the driver of the hearse. A tremble threatened to present itself, but he remained composed. Blackwell only politely declined. "No, thank you. I'll get the next one down." The doors closed, and the elevator started down. Shrieks and screams were heard as the elevator plummeted downward, followed shortly by a crashing sound. The elevator had fallen to the bottom of the shaft. Everyone on board was killed. That was Room for One More. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Like I always say in closing, check under your bed, look in your closet, and sleep with the light on. The life you save may very well be your own. Good night, everyone.